Today, we'll be learning about Omodaru. This ancient Shinto deity is one of the primordial gods who emerged during the creation of the world, whose name means perfect or complete form. He represents the divine principle of wholeness and completion in the universe. Omodaru appeared alongside his female counterpart, Ayakashi Kone, as one of the paired deities during the early stages of cosmic formation. Together, they represent the balance between masculine and feminine forces that shape reality itself. What makes him fascinating is that he embodies the concept of divine protection, not in the flawless sense, but in a state of being whole and complete. He represents the moment when chaotic forces finally achieve perfect balance and harmony. Unlike more famous gods, Omadaru works quietly behind the scenes, maintaining the cosmic order that allows everything else to function. He's the divine principle that ensures things work as they should. Today he's honored for bringing completion to unfinished projects and helping people achieve wholeness in their lives. When something feels incomplete or unbalanced, the energy can help restore harmony. I enjoyed learning about this deity with you. Today we'll be learning about Ayakashi Kunne. This primordial Shinto goddess is one of the ancient deities who emerged from the world's creation, whose name means wondrous root or mysterious foundation. She represents the divine feminine principle that nurtures all existence. Ayakashi Kunne appeared alongside her male counterpart, Omodaru, as a paired deity during the early cosmic formation. While he represents completion and form, she embodies the mysteries of creative force that make growth and transformation possible. What makes her special is her connection to the hidden, nurturing aspects of creation. She's the root system that feeds the cosmic tree, the underground network of divine energy that supports all visible life above. Unlike gods with dramatic stories, Ayakashi Kunne works in the subtle realms, the spaces in between things, the potential waiting to become reality. She's the divine mystery that makes miracles possible through patient, invisible work. Today, she's honored by those seeking to understand life's deeper mysteries and tap into their own creative potential. She teaches us that powerful force often works quietly behind the scenes. I enjoyed learning about this goddess of mysterious creative power with you. Today, we'll be learning about Ninigi no Mikoto. This legendary Shinto deity is the divine grandson of the sun goddess Amaterasu, whose name means Prince of Abundant Rice Ears. He's the god who descended from heaven to establish the Japanese imperial line on Earth. Amaterasu chose Ninigi to rule the earthly realm. She gave him 3 sacred treasures, a mirror, sword, and jewels, that became the imperial regalia of Japan. These treasures are still part of the emperor's coronation today. What makes his story incredible is heavenly descent to Mount Takachiho in Kyushu. He didn't just arrive quietly. He came with a divine entourage, bringing heavenly authority to establish order on Earth. This event is called the Tenson Korin, or Divine Descent. Ninigi became the great-grandfather of Japan's first emperor, Jimmu, making him the direct divine ancestor to the entire imperial family. Every Japanese emperor traces their lineage back to this heavenly prince. Today, he represents the divine connection between heaven and earth, and the sacred responsibility of leadership. I enjoyed learning about this heavenly prince who founded the Japanese imperial line with you. Today we'll be learning about Suijin. This powerful Shinto deity is the divine ruler of all water, whose name simply means water god. Unlike many gods with specific forms, Suijin represents the universal spirit that flows through rivers, lakes, wells, and every drop of water on Earth. What makes Suijin fascinating is that the deity appears in many different forms across Japan, sometimes depicted as a dragon, sometimes as a serpent, and sometimes as a beautiful woman. Suijin adapts to whatever form is needed to protect and bless water sources. Suijin's power extends far beyond just water itself. The deity can control irrigation for farmers, protects fishermen on dangerous waters, ensures clean drinking water for communities, and can either bring life-giving rain or devastating floods, depending on how they're treated. Throughout Japan, you'll find countless shrines dedicated to Suijin, near rivers, lakes, and springs. People pray for good harvests, safe travels over water, and protection from droughts and floods. Rice farmers especially depend on Suijin's blessings for their crops. Today, as water becomes increasingly precious, Suijin reminds us to respect and protect this vital resource that sustains all life. I enjoyed learning about this adaptable guardian of all waters with you. Today we'll be learning about Takemikazuchi. This legendary Shinto deity is one of Japan's most powerful thunder and sword gods, whose name means brave, awful, possessing male deity. He's the divine warrior who literally wrestled the gods into submission to establish heavenly rule on Earth. Takemikazuchi's most famous feat was his conquest of the earthly realm alongside Futsunishi. When the heavenly gods need to pacify rebellious earthly deities, they sent this thunder god to get the job done. His mere presence was so intimidating that most gods surrendered without a fight. What makes him legendary legendary is his incredible strength and martial prowess. He's said to have invented sumo wrestling during his epic battle with Takeminakata, pinning his opponent so decisively that it established the divine right of the heavenly gods to rule. Takemikazuchi became the patron deity of the Fujiwara clan and is enshrined at Kashima Shrine, one of Japan's most important martial temples. Samurai warriors would pray to him for strength, courage, and victory in battle. Today, martial artists, athletes, and anyone facing overwhelming challenges can still call upon Takemikazuchi for his thunderous power and unwavering determination. I enjoyed learning about this divine champion of thunder and strength with you. Today we'll be learning about Takeminakata. This brave Shinto deity is the god of wind, water, and hunting, whose name means brave, august, name firm deity. He's famous for being the only god who dared to challenge the mighty Takemikazuchi, the ultimate divine wrestling match. When the thunder god, Takemikazuchi, came to conquer the earthly realm, most gods surrendered immediately, but not Takeminakata. This fierce deity stepped forward and challenged the heavenly champion to a contest of strength that would determine the fate of two worlds. What makes his story incredible is that he invented sumo wrestling during this epic battle. Though he ultimately lost and was exiled to Lake Suwa, his courage in facing impossible odds made him a legendary figure of defiance and honor. Takeminakata became the patron deity of Suwa Shrine in Nagano, where he is worshipped as a brave god of hunting, agriculture, and military prowess. Despite his defeat, he's revered for his bravery and willingness to stand up for his people. Today, he represents the spirit of never giving up, even when facing overwhelming opposition. His story teaches us that sometimes the greatest honor comes from fighting for what's right, regardless of the outcome. I enjoyed learning about this courageous god who never backed down with you. Today we'll be learning about Toyotama Hime. This enchanting Shinto goddess is the dragon princess of the sea, whose name means luminous jewel princess. She's the daughter of the sea king Watsutsumi, and one of the most tragically romantic figures in Japanese mythology. Toyotama Hime's love story with Prince Hori is legendary. When he lost his brother's magical fishing hook in the ocean, she helped him retrieve it from her father's underwater palace. Their romance blossomed in the mystical realm beneath the waves, and they married in an underwater paradise. What makes her story heartbreaking is the tragic end to their fairy tale. When she gave birth to their son, she made Hori promise never to watch her during labor, but curiosity got the better of him, and he witnessed her true form, a massive dragon or crocodile, giving birth. Devastated by his broken promise and the shame of being seen in her true form, Toyotama Hime fled back to the sea forever, leaving behind their newborn son, who would become the grandfather to Japan's first emperor. Today she's honored as a goddess of childbirth, ocean mysteries, and the bittersweet nature of love that transcends different worlds. I enjoyed learning about this tragic dragon princess of the deep with you. Today we'll be learning about Yatagarasu. This legendary Shinto deity is the divine three-legged crow who serves as the messenger of the sun goddess Amaterasu. His name means eight-span crow. He's one of the most powerful guide spirits in Japanese mythology. Yatagarasu's most famous mission was guiding Japan's first emperor Jimmu through the treacherous mountains during his legendary Eastern campaign. When the emperor's army was lost and surrounded by enemies, this divine crow appeared and led them to victory, literally founding the Japanese nation. What makes him extraordinary is his three legs, which represent three divine virtues: wisdom, benevolence, and valor. He's not just a messenger bird, he's the embodiment of divine guidance and appears when heroes need direction most. His influence extends far beyond ancient mythology. Yatagarasu is the official symbol of the Japanese Football Association, representing guidance and leadership. You'll see him on every Japanese national soccer team jersey. Today, people pray to Yatagarasu for guidance in difficult decisions, safe travels, and finding their true path in life. He reminds us that sometimes help comes from unexpected sources. I enjoyed learning about this divine three-legged guide of emperors with you. Today we'll be learning about Kinyasu no Kami. This unique Shinto deity is the divine god of clay and earth, whose name means clay peaceful deity. He was born from the earth itself during one of mythology's most tragic moments, the death of the fire goddess Kagatsuchi. When Izanami gave birth to the fire god Kagatsuchi, the flames killed her. From her death and the earth that absorbed her essence, Kinyasu no Kami emerged as a divine spirit of clay and soil. He literally rose from the ground where a goddess had fallen. What makes him fascinating is his connection to pottery and ceramics, one of humanity's oldest and most essential crafts. He represents the traditional and humble earth into beautiful functional objects through human skill and divine inspiration. Kinyasu no Kami is especially revered by potters, ceramicists, and anyone who works with clay. His blessing is said to make clay more pliable, fires burn at the perfect temperature, and finished pieces emerge without cracks or flaws. Today he reminds us that even from tragedy and loss, something beautiful and useful can be created. He's the god of raw materials and shaping them into something meaningful. I enjoyed learning about this divine master of clay and creation with you. Today we'll be learning about Atago Gogen. This powerful protective deity is the divine guardian against fire whose name means Atago Avatar. He's a syncretic god combining Buddhist and Shinto traditions, worshipped as the ultimate protector against flames and disasters. Atago Gogen resides on Mount Atago near Kyoto, where his main shrine has protected the ancient capital from fires for over 1,000 years. In a city mostly built of wood, having a fire god on your side was literally a matter of life and death. What makes him special is his dual nature. He can both control fire and extinguish it. He's not just about preventing fires, but he's also about harnessing the positive power of flames for cooking, warmth, and spiritual purification while keeping their destructive force in check. His worship spread throughout Japan, especially in urban areas where fire was a constant threat. Merchants, craftspeople, and entire neighborhoods would make pilgrimages to his shrines, praying for protection from the flames that could destroy their livelihoods in minutes. Today, firefighters, restaurant owners, and anyone working with fire still honor Atago Gongen for his protective power. He reminds us to respect fire's dual nature, both life-giving and potentially destructive. I enjoyed learning about this divine protector against flames with you. Today, we'll be learning about Isetsukiko. This fierce Shinto deity is the god of hunting and mountain wilderness, whose name means brave, fierce male deity. He's one of the most powerful protectors in Japan's wild places and the divine patron of hunters and mountain dwellers. Isetsuhiko rules over the untamed forests and rugged peaks where civilization ends and true wilderness begins. He's not just a nature god, he's the embodiment of the wild spirit that demands respect from anyone who enters his domain. What makes him formidable is his mastery over both beauty and danger of mountain life. He can guide lost travelers to safety or lead them deeper into the wilderness if they disrespect his sacred spaces. His favor means abundant game and safe passage, but his anger brings avalanches and treacherous storms. Traditional hunters would always make offerings to Isetsuhiko before entering the mountains, asking permission to hunt and promising to only take what they need. He taught the sacred balance between human needs and nature's limits. Today, mountaineers, hunters, and outdoor enthusiasts still honor Isetsuhiko for protection in the wilderness. He reminds us that nature is not just a resource to exploit, but a living force that deserves our respect and reverence. I enjoyed learning about this wild guardian of Japan's mountains with you. Today we'll be learning about Kanayago Kami. This powerful Shinto deity is the divine protector of metalworkers and blacksmiths, whose name means metalworking child deity. Similar to Inari, this god can appear as either male or female. They're the one-eyed, one-legged deity who rules over the forge and the transformation of raw metal into tools and weapons. Kanayago Kami's unique appearance tells her story. She lost her eye and leg in a terrible accident involving molten metal. But instead of being weakened, this made her even more powerful, giving her a deep understanding of the dangers and mysteries of metalworking. What makes her special is her fierce protection of those who work with fire and metal. She blesses blacksmiths with skill and guards them from burns and injuries that come with their dangerous craft. Traditional metalworkers would pray to her before lighting their forges, asking for steady hands and safe working conditions. She taught the sacred art of turning raw ore into everything from farming tools to samurai swords. Today, welders, metalworkers, and craftspeople still honor Kanayago Kami for protection and skill in their dangerous but essential work. I enjoyed learning about this fierce guardian of the forge with you. Today we'll be learning about Kawa no Kami. This vital Shinto deity is the divine spirit of rivers and flowing water, whose name simply means river god. They're the protector of Japan's countless rivers and the life-giving force that flows through every stream. Kawa no Kami controls the flow of rivers that feed rice fields, provide drinking water, and power water mills. They can bring gentle rains for good harvests or devastating floods that reshape the landscape entirely. What makes them essential is their role in daily life. Every river crossing, every irrigation channel, every village well falls under their protection. Farmers would pray to them during planting season, while travelers made offerings before dangerous river crossings. Traditional communities built shrines along riverbanks to honor Kawa no Kami, especially at bridges and ferry crossings. They understood that rivers were not just water, but living spirits that demanded respect. Today, as water management becomes increasingly important, Kawa no Kami reminds us that rivers are sacred forces that sustain all life. Today we'll be learning about Kaya no Hime. This mystical Shinto deity is the divine spirit of grasses and meadows, whose name means grass princess. She's the protector of Japan's grasslands and the gentle force that brings life to every blade. Kaya no Hime governs wild grasses that feed livestock, reeds for thatching roofs, and meadows where communities gather medicinal herbs. She can bring lush growth or allow withering drought that leaves fields barren. What makes her essential is her connection to rural survival. Every pasture and herb garden falls under her protection. Farmers honor her during spring planting, while craftspeople make offerings before harvesting grasses for rope and baskets. Traditional communities built shrines in grasslands to honor Kaya no Hime, understanding that these weren't empty spaces but realms guided by a protective spirit. Today, Kaya no Hime reminds us that humble grasses are the foundation of countless ecosystems. I enjoyed learning about this gentle guardian of grass and meadows with you. Today, we'll be learning about Kishoten. This radiant goddess is a syncretic Shinto deity who is also a Buddhist goddess, and is the divine spirit of beauty, fortune, and prosperity whose name means auspicious heaven. She's the bringer of good luck and the elegant force that bestows wealth and happiness. Kishoten governs material property, artistic beauty, and fertile harvests. She can grant abundant wealth to the faithful or withdraw her blessings from those who displease her, leaving them in poverty. What makes her essential is her role in daily prosperity, successful businesses, beautiful artwork, bountiful harvests. These are the things under her influence. Merchants prayed to her for profitable ventures, while artists sought her inspiration for creating beauty. Traditional communities built elaborate shrines to honor Kishoten, often depicting her in flowing robes holding symbols of abundance. They understood that true prosperity required divine favor and gracious living. Today, Kishoten reminds us that fortune and beauty are gifts to be cherished and shared with others. I enjoyed learning about this gracious goddess of prosperity and beauty with you. Today we'll be learning about Hojin. This fierce guardian deity is the divine spirit of the hearth and kitchen, whose name means rough god. He's the protector of the home's sacred fire and the powerful force that guards families from within. Hojin governs cooking fires, family meals, and household protection. He can bring warmth and nourishment to develop families or unleash his wrath through kitchen accidents and food poisoning on those who neglect proper rituals. His role in domestic life is quite simple. Every meal preparation, every family gathering, every home's safety falls under his watchful protection. Families offered him the best rice of each meal first and kept his altar spotless. Many traditional households built small shrines in their kitchen to honor Koji, often placing them near the stove or cooking area. They understood that the kitchen was a sacred space requiring a fierce protector. Today, Koji reminds us that the heart of every home deserves respect and careful tending. I enjoyed learning about this powerful guardian of hearth and home with you. Today we'll be learning about Kuebiko. This wise Shinto deity is the divine spirit of knowledge in agriculture, whose name means disabled prince. He's the all-knowing scarecrow god who watches over rice fields and possesses infinite wisdom. Kuebiko governs agricultural knowledge, seasonal timing, and protective watchfulness. He can grant farmers perfect understanding of their crops or allow ignorance to ruin entire harvests through poor decisions. He's the omniscient guardian of farmers' crops, all-knowing and all-seeing. Farmers consulted him for weather predictions and crop guidance. Traditional communities placed scarecrow figures in rice paddies to honor Kuebiko, believing his immobile form allowed him to observe everything. They understood that true wisdom comes from patient observation. Today, Kuebiko reminds us that knowledge and careful watching are the foundations of successful cultivation. I enjoyed learning about this wise guardian of fields and knowledge with you. Today we'll be learning about Nesaku. This specialized Shinto deity is the divine spirit of root establishment, whose name means root establishing god. He's the precise guardian who ensures every planted seedling develops strong roots for survival. This isn't just any agricultural deity. Nesaku specifically controls the critical moment when young plants establish their root system. One blessing ensures deep, strong roots that survive storms and drought. One curse, shallow roots that spell disaster for entire villages. What makes Nesaku crucial is his mastery over the most critical agricultural moments. Farmers would chant his name during transplanting, knowing this 3-day window determines whether families would eat or starve. Ancient texts describe Nesaku as having earth-stained hands and eyes that could see through soil to examine every root fiber. Villages would offer their finest sake directly into flooded fields for his favor. Today's precision agriculture still echoes Nesaku's wisdom. Perfect timing and root health remain everything. I enjoyed learning about this essential guardian of agricultural foundations with you. Today we'll be learning about Oshira-sama. This beloved dual deity represents the divine spirits of silkworms and horses, whose name means White Lord. They're the paired guardians of rural prosperity and the mysterious force that connects two of Japan's most vital animals. Oshira-sama governs silk production and agricultural labor through their sacred partnership. They can bless families with an abundant silk harvest and strong horses, or withdraw their favor, leaving households without income or farm power. What makes them special is their tragic love story. Legend tells of a farmer's daughter who fell in love with the family's horse. When her father killed the horse in rage, both lovers transformed into protective spirits watching over rural communities. Traditional households keep carved wooden dolls representing Oshira-sama dressed in colorful silk robes. During festivals, shamans dance with these dolls, channeling the spirits' voices to predict harvests and offer guidance. Today, Oshida-sama reminds us that love and sacrifice can transform into protective power for entire communities. I enjoyed learning about these devoted guardians of silken horses with you. Today we'll be visiting Sensoji. Asakusa's Sensoji is a hugely famous tourist destination here in Tokyo, Japan. It's a Buddhist temple dedicated to the Bodhisattva canon, though it also has various other temples to other deities on its grounds. Sensoji is the oldest Buddhist temple in all of Tokyo, being founded in 645 AD. It's the most visited religious site in the world, with over 30 million people visiting each year. This temple has a long and storied history. Perhaps the most significant thing within the past 100 years is that the temple was destroyed during a 1945 firebombing campaign on Japan during World War II. The main hall was rebuilt in the 1950s. Sensoji was formerly associated with the Tendai sect of Buddhism. The temple became independent after the Second World War. Despite this being a Buddhist site, there is a Shinto connection. The Nishinomiya Inari Shrine was located within the precincts of Sensoji, and a torii gate identified the shrine's location. After the Meiji government ordered the separation of Shinto and Buddhism in 1868, the Inari Shrine was moved to the grounds of Asakusa Shrine, where, unlike most of Sensoji, it survived the firebombing. Despite the tourists, many still worship here, and it's quite common to see people wearing kimono and yukata no matter what time of year it is. I wore my yukata to the visit even though it was 35 degrees Celsius. I also got a goshuin. I enjoyed visiting. Today we'll be learning about Ugaya Fuki Aoezu. This mythical Shinto deity is the divine prince of unfinished shelter, whose name means Comoran thatch, incompletely roof. He's the powerful ancestor god born in a birth hut that wasn't completed in time. Ugaya Fuki Aoezu governs transitions, timings, and the sacred space between completion and incompletion. He can bless those who work with patience despite setbacks, or teach harsh lessons about the consequences of rushing important tasks. He is known for his dramatic birth story. His grandmother Amaterasu ordered a birth hut built from cormorant feathers, but labor began before the roof was finished. Born under open sky, he became the bridge between divine and mortal realm. Traditional builders would invoke Ugaya Fukiazu when construction faced delays, understanding that sometimes incompleteness serves a greater purpose. His story taught that divine timing often conflicts with human plans. Today, Ugaya Fukiazu reminds us that life's most important moments rarely wait for perfect conditions. I enjoyed learning about this powerful god of divine timing with you. Today we'll be learning about Kukunochi, a fascinating deity from Japanese Shinto mythology. Kukunochi, also known as the tree trunk elder, is the kami of trees and represents the divine spirit that dwells within all woody plants. Born from the primordial gods Izanagi and Izanami during the creation of the gods, this ancient deity holds a special place in Japan's spiritual traditions. Kukunochi is the brother of the nature deities including Oya Matsui, the mountain god, and Watsatsumi, the sea god, forming part of the divine family that governs Japan's natural world. What makes Kukunochi particularly intriguing is the belief that he may have originally been a tama, or soul, that actually lived within trees themselves, suggesting an intimate connection between the spiritual and natural realms. This deity reminds us of the deep reverence Japanese culture has always held for nature, seeing divinity not just in a grand temple, but in the quiet strength and enduring presence of the trees around us. I enjoyed learning about Kukunochi, and how this ancient god represents humanity's eternal connection to the forests that have sheltered and sustained us throughout history. Today we'll be learning about Kukukuri Hime no Kami, one of Japan's most remarkable goddesses of meditation and reconciliation. This Shinto deity is venerated as Shirayama Hime at the sacred Shirayama Hime Shrine in Hakusan, Ishikawa Prefecture, where she has been worshipped for centuries as a divine mediator. What makes Kukuri Hime truly extraordinary is her legendary role in Japanese mythology when the creator gods Izanagi and Izanami had their great conflict after Izanami's journey to the underworld. It was Kukuri Hime who stepped in to reconcile them. Based on this pivotal moment, she became revered as a deity of matchmaking and is also considered a goddess of shamans because she mediated between the deceased and the living. Known affectionately by locals as the parent goddess of life, Kukuri Hime has long been the spiritual center of the Kaga region. Her ability to bring harmony between opposing forces, whether divine beings or mortal couples, represents the Japanese cultural value, finding balance and resolution through wisdom and compassion. She reminds us that sometimes the greatest power lies not in force, but in the gentle art of bringing people together. I enjoyed learning about Kukuri Hime no Kami and how this divine mediator teaches us that peace and understanding can triumph over the greatest conflicts when approached with wisdom and care. Today we'll be learning about Moreya, a powerful indigenous deity from the Suwa region of Nagano Prefecture. This local kami held dominion over the sacred lands around Lake Suwa until he faced a legendary challenge. There is a famous tale which tells of Moreya's epic battle against Takemi Nakata, who arrived to claim spiritual rulership over the area. According to legend, legend, Takeminakata defeated Moria using only a single acacia branch, which he then planted in the ground where it grew into a dense forest, symbolizing the establishment of new divine authority. Many scholars believe Moria represents a deified indigenous priest chieftain, making his story a reflection of ancient cultural traditions. His defeat shows how Japanese spirituality honors the old while embracing the new, creating a rich tapestry that respects both the victor and vanquished. I enjoyed learning about Moria and how his story reminds us that even in defeat, the ancient spirits of the land continue to be honored in Japanese culture. Today we'll be learning about Wakumusubi, a vital kami of agriculture who sustains Japan's farming traditions. This deity governs grain production and sericulture, the art of silk cultivation that has been central to Japanese culture for centuries. Wakamusubi's origin story is both sacred and unusual. According to the Kojiki, he was born from the urine of the goddess Izanami during her death. Another version in the Nihon Shoki tells us he was the child of Kagutsuchi and Hinyasahime. He shares a divine connection with his sister Mizuhanome, the water goddess, showing how agriculture depends on the harmony between earth and water. Today, Wakumusubi is enshrined at Aki Jinja, where farmers and silk producers still pray for abundant harvests and successful crops. His presence reminds us that even the most essential aspects of life, our food and clothing, are sacred gifts that require divine blessing and human dedication. I enjoyed learning about Wakamusubi and how this agricultural deity connects Japan's spiritual traditions to the fundamental act of growing food that sustains us all. Today we'll be learning about Wakahirume, a graceful goddess who embodies both the rising sun and the ancient art of weaving. She's the daughter of Amaterasu, the great sun goddess, and represents the fresh beauty of dawn breaking across the sky. Wakahirume was renowned throughout the heavenly realm for her exceptional weaving skills. She spent her days in Amaterasu's sacred weaving halls, creating beautiful garments for all the gods and goddesses. Her symbols include needles, threads, yarn, and all manner of embroidery or woven items, reflecting her mastery of this sacred craft. Today she's enshrined at Ikuta Shrine in Kobe, where she answered the divine calling to stay in Ikuta Nagano no Kuni. Her name literally means goddess of the young and fresh day, perfectly capturing her dual nature as both the morning sun and the patient artisan who weaves light into fabric. I enjoyed learning about Wakahirume and how she reminds us that creativity and craftsmanship are the divine gifts that bring beauty and purpose to our daily lives. Today we'll be learning about Ukemochi, the vital Shinto goddess of food whose name means goddess who protects food. She is the daughter of the creator deities Izanagi and Izanami, who embodies the abundance that sustains all life. In one famous myth, she invited the moon god Tsukuyomi to a feast. When he arrived, she prepared the meal by facing the ocean to lure out fish, then turned to the forest where bountiful game danced out for the feast. However, Tsukuyomi was disgusted by her method of producing food and killed her in his revulsion. Today, Ukemochi is worshipped in the outer portion of Amaterasu's shrine at Ise, where she continues to bless Japan's food supply. She represents the sustenance and nourishment that the natural world provides, embodying abundance and fertility. Her story reminds us that food is sacred and that the earth's generosity should be honored, not taken for granted. I enjoyed learning about Ukemochi and how this generous goddess teaches us to respect the divine gift of nourishment that flows from the natural world. Today we'll be learning about Kurao Kami, the Japanese water dragon deity who controls rain, snow, and ice. This isn't your typical fire-breathing monster. When the fire god, Kagutsuchi, burned his mother to death, her husband killed him in rage. From the blood that dripped from his sword, Kurao Kami was born. This dragon god has the power to bring rain during droughts and stop floods during disasters. Here's the wildest part. Unlike Western dragons that hoard gold, Kurao Kami is actually a protector. Japanese farmers still pray to this ancient deity for perfect weather. The name of this god means dark dragon, and shrines across Japan honor this water god who can unleash blizzards or gentle spring rains. I enjoyed learning about this dragon which has been controlling water for thousands of years. Today we'll be learning about Ugajin, one of Japan's most unique deities who bridges the world of fertility, harvest, and spiritual transformation. This fascinating kami has the remarkable ability to appear as either male or female, presenting the dual nature of life-giving energy. What makes Ugajin truly distinctive is the striking appearance. Depicted with the body of a serpent and a human head, when appearing as masculine, Ugajin has the head of a bearded man, while the feminine form features a woman's head, both emerging from the powerful coils of a snake's body. Ugajin became deeply connected with Benzaiten, the goddess of water, music, and wisdom, showing how Japanese spirituality often weaves different traditions together. This serpent deity embodies the ancient belief that snakes represent renewal, fertility, and the mysterious power of the earth to bring forth abundant harvests. I enjoyed learning about Ugaijin and how this shape-shifting serpent deity reminds us that the forces of nature are both powerful and mysterious, capable of bringing life and abundance in forms we might not expect. Today we'll be learning about Ame-no-mina Kanushi, whose name means Heavenly Ancestral God of the Originating Heart of the Universe. This ancient deity holds the supreme position as the first or one of the first gods to manifest when heaven and earth came into existence. Ame-no-mina Kanushi is the primary member of the Zoka Sanshin, a trio of creator deities and one of the 5 revered Kotomatsukami. This primordial god emerged in complete solitude at the very beginning of creation, embodying both the cosmic center and the divine spark that ignited all of existence. The Shinto theologian Hirata Atsutane identified Ame-no-mina Kanushi as the spirit of the North Star, master of the 7 stars of the Big Dipper, representing cosmic stability and divine guidance that never wavers. This connection to the unchanging North Star symbolizes the eternal nature of this supreme creator deity. I enjoyed learning about Ame-no-mina Kanushi and how this first god reminds us that at the very heart of the universe lies a divine center that brings order, purpose, and meaning to all creation. Today we'll be learning about Takami Musubi, whose name means high generative force, and who stands at the second of the first beings to come into existence in Japanese creation mythology. This primordial deity is one of the Zoka Sanshin, the 3 creator gods, and represents the divine power that brings forth life itself. Takami Musubi holds a special connection to the Japanese imperial family, as this deity was originally speculated to be their tutelary god. This deity played a crucial role in selecting the gods to accompany Ninigi, the legendary ancestor to the imperial line, ensuring divine support for Japan's founding. Over time, Takami Musubi became associated with matchmaking and was worshipped by the Jingi-kan, the ancient office of Shinto affairs. Many Japanese clans claimed descent from this powerful creator deity, including the Saeki clan, showing how deeply this god is woven into Japanese ancestral heritage. I enjoyed learning about Takami Musubi and how this high generative force reminds us that creation itself is sacred, connecting the divine realm to the very foundations of Japanese civilization. Today we'll be learning about Kami Musubi, whose name means Spirit Generative Force, who represents the 3rd of the 3 primordial creator deities in Japanese mythology. This Hitorigami, or solitary deity, came into existence alongside Ame-no-mina Kanushi and Takami Musubi to form the sacred trio of first gods. Kami Musubi is one of the Kotoa Matsukami, the collective name for the first gods who manifested at the creation of the universe. This deity embodies the divine power of production and creation, with Musubi meaning the god who creates all things and brings forth new life from the divine realm. The concept of Musubi itself is deeply sacred in Japanese culture, representing the binding force that connects all things and creates harmony from objects. This same creative power is reflected in the marriage of creator deities Izanagi and Izanami, which was known as Kami Musubi, or Holy Union. I enjoyed learning about Kami Musubi and how the spirit of generative force reminds us that creation itself is a divine binding power that connects and harmonizes all of existence.